Well, it's opportunity for these other players to show what they can do and step up their level of role. It'll be interesting to see who can respond.
You win and lose as a team, the core value, the substitutes, it's an opportunity for them. I still believe that the #1 seed is important.
A huge game, but without the star power, some other key players will have to step forward. Of course, Warrior fans travel all over the country to watch their team. They'll watch their team, but missing a couple of key guys in street clothes tonight. And this presentation of NBA Saturday Primetime continues after this message and a word from our ABC stations. Welcome to NBA Saturday Primetime, presented by Verizon Wireless. A sellout crowd at the AT&T Center as the Spurs will host the Golden State Warriors' second meeting of the season between the two. They'll play again later this month right back here. We look at our starting lineups, and this is one of the key stories of tonight's game. It's brought to you by Taco Bell, with Patrick McCaw, who's been starting in place of the injured Kevin Durant, but now Sean Livingston, Kevon Looney, Pachulia, the normal starter, and Matt Barnes, the newest Warrior, all in. Patty Mills, Danny Green, Kyle Anderson, David Lee, and Dwayne Dedmon starting for San Antonio, who are without Kawhi Leonard, without LaMarcus Aldridge, with the story today about the heart irregularity, shall we say. Tony Parker also out. And of course, many aware of the 4 star players for Golden State out: Curry, Thompson, Green, and Iguodala. So an opportunity, Jeff, as you said at the top, for some of these role players to play a pivotal part in such a big game. Danny Green with 5 to shoot. Dedmon crossed the lane. Shot way off, fight for the rebound. Pachulia deflects it, and nobody had possession, so a 24-second violation. And Steve Kerr making the decision and saying that he's very comfortable with the decision, feels in terms of the current physical state of his team. He said a number of the players have fried. This was an easy choice to sit these players down on the second game of a back-to-back. They played last night in Minnesota and lost a 1-point game. McCaw off the mark. Dedmon the rebound. Zaza Pachulia is the leading scorer on the Warriors roster of eligible players tonight. He's averaging just over 6 a game as Patty Mills knocks it down for the first bucket.
Mike, if you haven't noticed, you're going to call this game on your own. Jeff and I are a little fatigued.
I need a spa day too. You know what really needs a spa day? My brother. I look at him as Pachulia makes a reverse layup. Coaches need a spa day.
Did you just take a shot at your brother?
No, but he needs a spa day.
Nice alley-oop, Mills to Dedmon. And an easy 2 for San Antonio. Dwayne Dedmon in his 4th year in the league. A player just starting to kind of figure out how to play in the NBA, but boy, does he have some potential.
Actually had him as a young fellow with the Warriors early on in his career. Class guy, worked his tail off. Going to be around in this league for a long time. There's people that believe that he wasn't an NBA player as Matt Barnes knocks down the long ball.
Barnes playing in his 6th game with Golden State, played earlier with Sacramento, and they waived him, signed the free agent deal with Golden State. Danny Green back to David Lee. Nice pass, Lee to Green. David Lee has been a nice pickup for San Antonio for their second unit. Greg Popovich raving about him before tonight's game. Pachulia, he's their go-to guy tonight. Anderson up top. Patty Mills kicks it out to Anderson, and Anderson knocks down the 3. They're the best 3-point shooting team in the NBA. Again, they're missing some key ingredients, but this year, percentage-wise, San Antonio #1 from downtown.
They don't shoot many comparatively to the rest of the league, but they shoot well at every level on the court.
Nice pass again. First David Lee at one end and Pachulia with another. And San Antonio leading by 4.
Good job by Matt Barnes moving without the basketball, and on-point delivery by Pachulia.
Anderson, line drive that time. Pachulia, quick outlet to Barnes. Barnes in his 2nd stint with Golden State. He played on that 2007 team that beat Dallas in the first round, 8 beating 1. McCaw can't hit. Kevon Looney on offensive board. Barnes tries again. Last touch by Looney. You know, we're talking so much about, use the phrase colossal letdown, because it was such a huge game. So many fans couldn't wait for this game. And it had so much meaning. That's no disrespect whatsoever to, there are a lot of really good NBA players on the floor tonight. But you're missing, there are 11 players on each team that at one point made an all-star team. 8 of those aren't playing. Ball tipped up and in by Anderson. They are Golden State just trying to play a good game. They've been struggling, 2-4 in their last 6. That's why San Antonio just a game and a half back. Nice tip in by Pachulia. We could have several players hit their career high tonight with all the extra minutes and all the extra shots. Danny Green launches a 3. Barnes again cuts backdoor, this time knocked out of bounds. Last touch by Green, who's claimed it hit Barnes' foot. Well, you see 3 finals MVPs, the last 3 MVPs overall, with Curry winning 2 of them. Western Conference All-Stars, first-team All-NBA players. Pachulia fouled, and he'll go to the line.
But there is a big difference. Kawhi Leonard is in concussion protocol. LaMarcus Aldridge has a heart issue. There's no one can dispute. This is a League and Warrior thing here tonight. San Antonio's done it before, and they were labeled smart. So you can't say that the Warriors are doing something wrong when the San Antonio Spurs previously have been hailed as smart for this.
Well, hailed by the experts. They paid a price when you talk about the league. They paid a price for sitting guys out. So to me, it's just the wrong message to send across the board to the fans of the game of basketball.
No, once again, the fans are told, you don't matter. Pay us up front, we'll take your money, and then we'll give you whatever product we want to.
David Lee using the right hand. Lee ambidextrous, makes a nice move inside for his first 2 points. All 5 starters have scored for San Antonio.
And to me, you can't just talk about this then get off of it. He devalues the fans, but it also devalues the regular season. As a coach, I'm trying to send a message that every game is important. And we're suiting up. Not our best lineup. It's just a tough call across the board.
Patty Mills to Dedmon. Well, San Antonio's second unit, the usual unselfish play. They've hit 7 of their first 11 from the field with 5 assists already.
I did some research. Did you know that the 1969 New York Knicks had 8 players in the summer of 69 or 60 before the season play in the Rucker Park League? 8 players played on concrete. I wonder what the experts would say about prolonging their career. They're champions and remembered a lifetime in New York City because of it.
Well, if sports science really has a beat on what's healthy for the players, then they need to tell the league how many games that is healthy for players to play, and then only play that many games. So if it's 65, then let's cut our schedule back to 65.
I wish they had sports science for my dad when he was working. He'd been home a little bit more.
Well, one thing for sure, we know that the length of the schedule will never be cut. So one of the things the league...
Why not, though? If we're talking about player wellness and player health, and that's the #1 thing, how can we say that and then play this many games where it's not healthy for the guys?
Patty Mills, it's that. There's no question. You're absolutely right. But that means both players and owners would have to say, all right, we're going to make less money. As Looney comes up with the offensive rebound, back up, blocked by Green. Pachulia had it knocked away. Patty Mills drives down a lane and flips it up and in. 8 straight points for San Antonio. Timeout, Golden State.
I know you want to win. It's healthy to run the lane, get stops, push the basketball. Great job by David Lee. And Patty Mills running the length of the floor with the big-time finish. Spurs rolling early, up 8.
Welcome back to San Antonio. The Spurs, LaMarcus Aldridge, out tonight and indefinitely because of heart arrhythmia. According to Greg Popovich, after the Oklahoma City game on Thursday, Aldridge told trainers that he felt his heart start to race. He had an EKG. That test came back abnormal. Now, he did miss time in April of 2007 when he was diagnosed with Wolff-Parkinson-White syndrome, a condition that can cause a rapid heartbeat. He had a procedure in 2011 for that. He missed 2 weeks. Now, according to Greg Popovich, he will be further evaluated on Monday, and at that time, they'll see where to go from there. Either his heartbeat will be back to normal, he'll be okay to play, or they may decide that they need more time to figure this out. Mike?
Thank you, Lisa. So obviously extreme caution with Aldridge. Meanwhile, Kawhi Leonard, they hope, will play on Monday as he's passing some of the protocols for the concussion. Tony Parker is day-to-day, and DeJounte Murray, same thing. As Patty Mills hits another one. Mills 4 of 5 from the field. He's got 9 points. Mills having a very strong season, such a vital part of their bench, but getting the start today. Barnes gets inside and draws the foul.
Mike, to go back to that thoughts and prayers to LaMarcus Aldridge. He's had a great impact in this league for quite a while and has been an outstanding representative of the game, and certainly wish him the very best.
Well, that is in one case they have such great medical procedures in terms of detecting some of these things, and he didn't feel right, as Lisa reported, and they'll run through a battery of tests on Monday. Foul is on David Lee. That's 2 on David Lee. Manu Ginobili and Pau Gasol will come in. And you look at the 2 benches for these teams, which are obviously on display today with all the key players out. San Antonio has certainly more experience and better depth right now, as Golden State made some changes in this offseason, have some young players now playing some key roles.
It's just, you know, they made a decision which was the right decision. You get Kevin Durant, who's a superstar, but they pay the price with their lack of depth. And you can take advantage when they begin to make substitutions in games. That's going to be a problem that they're going to have to deal with.
Ginobili to Gasol. Gasol kicks it out corner. Another excellent ball movement sequence, and Danny Green knocks down the 3. Well, we talk so much about Golden State being a great passing team, and they are the #1 passing team in the league, but San Antonio's been doing this for about 20 years. As David West's short jumper is good.
You know, the one guy for the Warriors that can be a legit scoring threat is Ian Clark. Won some games for them last year. Can flat out shoot the basketball, and you see the Spurs put size on him, so Anderson is the guy primarily defending.
Ginobili tried a slip pass, turned it over. 3rd turnover for San Antonio. JaVale McGee will check in for the first time. And Pachulia sits. Pachulia 6 points, 4 rebounds, and an assist. You also look at, you know, again, as we said, right now San Antonio 50-14, Golden State 52-13, so it's a game-and-a-half difference. Both these teams, obviously, they're the 2 best road teams in the NBA as well. They can win a Game 7 on the road, but this game could go, if San Antonio wins, they would own the tiebreaker. They're only playing 3 times this season, and San Antonio won the first one when they beat them by 29 opening night in Oakland.
Well, last year Cleveland, you know, won the championship on the road, but Golden State to get there had a home game against Oklahoma City. So you talk to any player or any coach in the league, they'd rather have the 7th game at home.
Rebound ripped down by Dedmon.
I really believe that this, you know, home court advantage is huge. That's why that #1 seed is so crucial and important. It's not about the superstar players on your team, but the supporting cast is much more effective statistically throughout the history of this game at home.
Our upcoming national TV schedule: NBA TV on Sunday, the Heat and the Pacers at 6 p.m. on ESPN Sunday, Cavs and Rockets, good game in Houston. TNT on Monday night, the Spurs will host the Hawks, Lakers and Nuggets in Denver. And ABC next Saturday, the Cavs and the Clippers from Los Angeles.
I watch Miami every chance I get. They play great basketball right now, hard and smart and together.
Patrick McCaw fouled. Miami Heat 20-4 in their last 24 games.
They're making the playoffs. It's just what seed they're going to get to.
It was an outstanding job done by Eric Spoelstra and his team, just competing.
And one of the keys for them, I mean, despite including individual fine play, is not only are they shooting the three so well, they're defending the three so well.
They defend, they compete, and it's a culture at the end of the day, which allows them to continue to have an identity in spite of who's in uniform and who's not. They should be extremely proud.
Bryn Forbes, the rookie from Michigan State, checks in for the first time. Jonathan Simmons, a second-year man from Houston, also in the game.
To go back to that, Coach, and I'm sure you could agree to this, I like it because it gives the recognition to Eric Spoelstra that he deserves. So, you know, we watched him with the superstars and said, oh, it's just them. He is coaching his tail off and deserves a lot of credit.
Well, some coaches, like Eric Spoelstra, when they win, they don't get credit because people say they have stars. Every coach who's ever won big has their name attached to star players. Eric Spoelstra will be in the Hall of Fame when it all is said and done because he's a great, great coach.
Pau Gasol misses. Barnes the rebound. Well, Greg Popovich will be the first one to agree with you, as he often talks as Barnes knocks down the three. Popovich always talks about the reason everything's gone so well for me is a fellow by the name of Tim. Popovich's team right now up by 5. Welcome back to NBA Saturday Primetime, presented by Verizon Wireless. Well, here in San Antonio, the players being rested, not the only controversy involving Golden State. After the loss last night in Minnesota, Andre Iguodala was first asked about the fact that he wasn't going to play, and was he agreeing with not playing tonight? His answer was, do what masters say. And then when he was asked about the team struggling and what do they needed to do to kind of turn it around, these were his quotes, and obviously you don't need me to tell you what the N-word there stands for. We got to score more than the other team. Yep, they want dumb, so I'm going to give you all dumb. What would dumb say? Just play harder, figure it out. Obviously, some racially charged comments in a time where everybody, rightfully so, sensitive about it. Mark, what was your thoughts about what Iguodala said?
Oh, disappointed. And I know him, I love him, and he's his class of guy that I've been around in this league. But those quotes, that statement is inexcusable. And you can't laugh it off and say that's just Andre, he's an incredibly smart guy. No, it's wrong, it's offensive, and he's got to be better. And somebody around him has got to tell him the truth and hold him accountable to that type of language. It's beneath him.
Jeff?
Amen.
Iguodala, because he's not playing, did not talk beforehand. He's going to be asked about that certainly the next time as David West knocks it down.
But that's my whole problem with where we're going in this. We're supposedly partners with the league, right? We're supposedly partners. We're not. It's one-sided. We used to get access to players for paying $1 billion. Now they don't feel like they have to come in, and we can't ask them these questions. Because when you say stuff like that, you should have to address them.
The league has not addressed it just yet, but
I'll tell you what, they would have if it was a white guy saying it. That's for sure. And they should have. They should have already addressed it and said, no matter who says that, we're going to not be tolerant of that type of language.
I tell you what, you just hit it out the park, my friend. You're 100% correct. That type of language is inexcusable no matter who uses it.
And my problem, the media was trying to apologize. Oh, this is how he does it. He's just trying to be funny. He's trying to make people squirm. You know what? We don't, just give us the quotes. You don't have to try to be an apologist.
Gasol shot blocked, thrown back by McAdoo. 8 on the shot clock. Ginobili lines it up. That won't go. Here's Clark. West. Short. Minute remaining here in the first, and a foul on McAdoo. And Bertans was trying to get position down low. NBA In Play, presented by Auto Trader, a new fantasy game that syncs with your TV in real time. Choose your team, set your lineup, and turbo boost each player's scoring, all while watching the game live. Download now and play. And one of the young players that they're very high on, Davis Bertans, the rookie from Latvia, who came over in the trade with Kawhi Leonard, the one that sent George Hill to Indiana at the time. Born in Latvia, he's played pro ball in Latvia and Slovenia. Greg Popovich says he's a real basketball player. He's skilled. He has a good feel for the game. Earlier this season, he was telling us, I got to find a way to play this young man. He's going to be very good. Bertans is 24 years old, signed a 2-year guaranteed deal.
Oh, he's a keeper. Great size, excellent shooter, and a tremendous athlete.
West lost it, got it kicked out of bounds. San Antonio ball. San Antonio shooting 60% from the field. They have 29 points despite 5 turnovers. Entry pass to Gasol. Another look from Ginobili. 9 assists here in the opening quarter for San Antonio.
Hall of Famer to Hall of Famer. Great pass and catch by Gasol.
McAdoo gets it back. Shot blocked by Gasol.
But you say that, and there's people that'll respond and say, we're crazy. Check the numbers. Pau Gasol and Manu Ginobili will be Hall of Fame basketball players without question.
Gasol had about, as Ginobili's pass deflected out of bounds, it's still San Antonio ball. Gasol had a stretch where he was the best big man in the game.
Not only that, they're from overseas. Think about the precedent that's been set. They are as accomplished as anybody that's played this game.
3.2 left. Nice lob pass again. Hall of Famer to Hall of Famer, Jeff. And they'll bring it all the way back down the other end. Ball didn't hit anything or anybody. So the Spurs will get another opportunity with 9/10 of a second. That's plenty of time for a catch and shoot.
If you're the Warriors, you got to understand this situation where they try to cut Simmons. It's normally Ginobili with a live cut going to the hoop.
Bertans to take it out. Simmons cuts to the basket. He missed him. They lob it out to Forbes. Catches, puts it up. And just off the mark. But even with that miss, San Antonio shoots 61% from the field with 10 assists. Patty Mills led the way, 4 of 5 from the field. He had 9 points. And Pau Gasol off the bench. First quarter complete. Spurs up 11.
Welcome back to San Antonio. Tonight's coaches interview brought to us by America's Navy Steve. Obviously, a lot of your star guys sitting out tonight, but what have you seen so far from the guys who are out on the floor?
Well, we're working hard offensively. We're moving the ball. We've got to knock down some shots, obviously. But we've got to pick up our defense. That's the main thing. They're scoring at will down there.
Who is a player or two who you really want to see something from tonight, who might need this experience, who you think might be able to help you in the long run down in the playoffs?
Well, Patrick McCaw has been a good player for us this year. He's a rookie, still learning every day. So a night like tonight is important for him.
Thank you, Coach. Mike.
Thank you, Lisa. And Clark puts that one in. And Lisa brings up a good point. And this all goes back to Greg Popovich, who really started doing resting players. And it began way back in the early 2000s when Tim Duncan had a knee injury. And when he returned, Popovich wanted to rest him once in a while. It worked. Duncan had success because of that rest, and he's rested a lot of his players over the years, especially the older players. But another side of it is the ball stripped from McAdoo. Ginobili tips it to Bertans. Is it does give some of these younger players an opportunity to play in big games. So if need to be, as Bertans knocks down the 3, if need be come playoff time, these guys have actually had, even if it's for a 5 or 10 minute stretch, some of these young players have received some pressure-filled moments during the regular season.
I'm not co-signing that, Mike. How about you? I mean, that's a good attempt to remix it.
No, I'm not, because the playoffs are a totally different animal, and they won't be seen time in the playoffs.
But every once in a while, as Barnes gets fouled, for example, a couple of years ago, like with Patty Mills got a lot of big moments played, and some of it was...
No, but not by injury. I mean, he was in the regular rotation.
Right, but he'd received more time when Ginobili and Parker were being rested on occasion. He would start some games, or he'd play a bigger role in some games.
You know, this is the type of argument that you're not going to let go until I agree with you, so I agree with you, Mike. Wow. And listen, when you've been married, you know when to say when.
It's 11 years I've waited for you to say those words to me.
No.
Mike, I know you can agree with me with something. A week ago we talked, this guy brought up sippy cups and how everybody in the front row should have sippy cups from now on.
Because beverages often, when a player dives in, spills all over the court and gets slippery.
He shows up today and gives each of us our very own sippy cup with our names on it. Now here's my problem, Mike. I don't know about you. I can't drink out of this. This is awful.
But our names are on it, but it wasn't like written with a magic marker. They were made this way.
I got a problem drinking out of it. How about you?
Who's responsible for this?
Listen, Amy Inger is my personal assistant when it comes to sippy cup distribution. And so this teaches young people how to use their mouth muscles.
That's awful.
You've given up way too early on the whole. Well, you could go straight bottle like that, young man.
How many assistants are hired under the Van Gundy estate, by the way?
Well, we have specialists. You know.
What's your assistant's name again?
No, she's my sippy cups, Amy Inger.
All over the place here on this possession. There's McCaw.
But she doesn't work on Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesdays just to rest.
Jones way off the mark. Damian Jones, the rookie from Vanderbilt, just called up from the D-League. He's guarding Pau Gasol. There's a way to get experience. Gasol's pass deflected off a foot. He's yelling for a kick ball. Clark knocks down the shot.
He can score.
And a timeout called by Greg Popovich. Ian Clark has picked up a big role this year with some of the veterans who moved on during this offseason. Knocks down that one. Tonight's Fresh Take brought to you by Subway. Kevin Durant, the injured knee on February 28th. So how do they go without him? Well, it's been 6 games. Barnes, McCaw, and Iguodala getting most of the minutes at his spot. Iguodala's played well, but the team has not. Steph Curry, you see their numbers. Look at the three-point numbers in those last 6 games. 28 and 27% from the 2. Most of those games on the road. And you see the team, the huge difference in scoring, how the offense has taken such a hit. Again, many of these games have been on the road. Of those 6, 5 of the 6 games were road games. The Boston game was the only one that wasn't. But they have clearly struggled without Kevin Durant.
But is that a surprise, Mike? I mean, you're talking about one of the greatest. He's going to go down as one of the greatest players and scorers of all time. When you sacrifice depth for a star, as Gasol's fouled, of course you're going to struggle. Now, the thing that is perplexing to me, and I don't know if it was when you were coaching him, Curry struggles on the road this year shooting-wise throughout the whole year. That surprised me.
No, it's very surprising.
Well,
go ahead, Mike.
He's shooting 50% from the field and 46% from 3 at home. On the road, this is not just 6 games this season. 43% from the field and 34% from 3.
And Mike, we talked about it, I believe, last week. Similar numbers for Klay Thompson as far as home and the road is concerned. They're all-time great shooters, so those numbers are surprising.
But now, granted, when you lose a guy like Durant, but to go 2 and 4 and have the numbers dip, did you guys expect it to be this much of a difference? I didn't.
I thought they would still win. Now, Boston, I thought, played an outstanding game as Clark with another bucket, but I am surprised.
I'm surprised that they're struggling the way they're struggling, but I knew it would not be easy without Kevin Durant because of his presence on the floor. I think it only enhances putting him in the MVP discussion, certainly not winning it, but having more respect and appreciation for what he does on a nightly basis.
Nice pass there from Livingston. And McAdoo able to finish. They force some turnovers, and they're back within 7.
Exactly what Steve Kerr is looking for. Sometimes you can't score on the offensive end. Well, get it going by playing outstanding defense, and it turns into quality offense in the transition.
Boston still battling with Washington and Cleveland atop in the Eastern Conference. Patty Mills launches another and hits another. 5 of 6 from the field for Patty Mills.
And he's going to be a free agent too, right, Mike? He and Dedmon, to me, are going to draw big offers.
And again, because of the salary cap increasing, guys are going to get huge money. It's going to be difficult for San Antonio to sign some of their own free agents.
Well, especially someone who plays with this level of enthusiasm and intensity and can shoot like Patty Mills can.
Mills still just 28 years old. Did not have a great season last year, but this year, nice feed inside. David Lee misses, but on the second effort. And Steve Kerr, furious, calls a timeout. Wants a 20-second timeout.
Steve Kerr upset with McCaw. Says it's a screen, you got to switch. Poor job communicating, and Patty Mills making plays, and David Lee does the rest. Cleans up his miss. Great energy and effort by the Spurs.
Patty Mills in his 8th year in the league, the year that he won his ring in 2014 with San Antonio. He had a big NBA Finals. Game 4, he had 14 points. Game 5, 17 points. An integral part of that Spurs championship team. And as we said, Greg Popovich is saying he's playing at that level again this year.
Well, last year he was coming off that shoulder surgery.
Right.
You know, I think we judge people coming off injury, particularly the major injuries, far too quickly.
Livingston line drive is good. Livingston, who's had a terrific season, has not shot well in the last several games, again since the Durant injury. Bertans again. Boy, that's a good-looking jumper.
This is a good-looking player.
It's 6'10", beautiful stroke from outside. That jumper from Jones misses. Mills throws it ahead, deflected by Clark. Here comes Livingston.
And the concern, you look at this Warriors lineup, where does the scoring come from outside of Ian Clark?
Well, Clark's doing it all right now. Clark with 9 points, he's 4 of 5 from the field.
You know, normally Livingston is a guy that you can post up, but they're putting size on him. So Clark has got to create offense for himself and for the supporting cast.
Clark, who was not drafted, spent some time in the D-League. This is his first year playing regular minutes in the rotation. Lee's pass deflected out of bounds. Last touch by Livingston. 2.2 to shoot for San Antonio. Simmons will check back in for San Antonio. Clark, 26 years old, went to college at Belmont University. Very good college player. Bertans again! That's 3 for 3 from downtown.
And that's a pure jumper, too. That's on balance. He's big, high release.
7 of 12 from three-point range is the best three-point shooting team in the league, even with all the key players missing. Danny Green grabs it. Patty Mills, that's good. Knocking down threes. Timeout. Golden State. It's a 16-point lead for the Spurs. 15 points for Patty Mills.
He can shoot it off the catch, but the off the dribble pull-up three, a difficult shot, but one he shoots with aplomb.
It's time for Better Decisions, brought to you by PlayStation View. And leading scorers, Patty Mills, 15 points, 6 of 7 from the field. Meanwhile, Davis Bertans, the 24-year-old rookie from Latvia, having a terrific game. Bertans has played in 53 of their 64 games. He started 3 times, only plays about 11 minutes per game normally. He's been shooting 39% from downtown. As Pachulia back in, and Mills call for the reach-in.
Big fella. This is a beautiful stroke. I mean, that's a thing of beauty. With all these substitutions, you turn into Mama. Who is that man? Bertans, remember the name.
Well, that 2011 draft, obviously a good one for San Antonio. That's the one where Kawhi Leonard was drafted 15th by Indiana, but then traded for George Hill. And Bertans was a second-round pick in 2011. So those two players, two terrific young players for San Antonio.
Coach, something you used to talk about. The principles are the same. He just finished knocking down shots. That's poor defense by the Warriors underneath out of bounds and allowing Bertans that wide open jumper.
Especially with such a low shot clock.
David Lee, ball slipped out of his hands. Barnes has it. Nice backdoor cut on a beautiful bounce pass for Pachulia.
Well, Pachulia is an excellent passer. They don't throw it to him in those areas as often as they used to throw it to Bogut, but he has similar type of passing skills.
11 points that is for Ian Clark. Bertans to the point now where it doesn't go in, you're surprised. Livingston, McAdoo posting up Simmons, gets inside. That's good teamwork there. McAdoo wanted on one side but couldn't quite get position. They swung at weak side. And McAdoo 4 points. Just over 4.5 remaining here in the second. San Antonio still shooting a great percentage, 62%, including 8 of 14 from downtown. Shot clock winding down. Mills gets it off. Ball kept alive by David Lee, but Golden State ball. Clark to Barnes. Barnes for three. Clark the rebound. Put back is good. Ian Clark now with 13 points.
Well, people don't remember, the tide turned as far as the culture for the Warriors. Ian Clark, winning the Summer League with that young group, was the point guard 3 or 4 years ago. He's a keeper, competes at a high level, and an overachiever.
Pachulia with the block shot. All 13 of Clark's points here in the second. Of course, Leandro Barbosa was a backup guard last year. Clark taking over a lot of those minutes.
You look at Clark, you can nitpick and say, well, is he a point guard? Is he a two guard? He's a player. He's a player that competes, has a gift of scoring the basketball, shooting the basketball, and making plays. Great job moving without the basketball. Beautiful pass by Pachulia.
Well, the Warriors are Clark's third NBA team. He played briefly with Utah, parts of 2 seasons with them, and then was with Denver for only 7 games.
Yeah, he won some games for them last year. Even with Barbosa, he came in and I remember specifically against Utah on the road. He came off the bench and won the game for the Warriors.
And he played in the playoff, played in 16 of the playoff games, had a double-figure game a couple of times. As you guys said earlier, he can score. A 16-point lead's been cut to 10. Ginobili looking for some room. Pachulia comes up a little short defending him. Manu Ginobili with his first field goal. $14 assists here in the first half for the Spurs. Clark. Anderson may have gotten a piece of it. Gasol. Anderson 2-on-1. Nice. Oh, Anderson missed it. Made the right decision but came up short. Clark turns short. Patty Mills for three. Puts it in. Patty Mills lighting it up here in the first half. He's got 18.
Outstanding find by Ginobili in transition, making the right decision. Put the ball in the playmaker's hands. Ginobili allows Anderson to run, takes the defense with him, patiently waits for it to develop, and then Patty Mills knocked down jumper in the bench. Loving the energy, the effort, and the enthusiasm.
You know, was in Milwaukee the other night and saw Giannis Antetokounmpo play, and it's just amazing how far he's come and what a special young player he is.
They have the longest winning streak in the East. After Parker's injury, what he and the rest of the Bucks have done has been terrific to stay relevant in that playoff hunt.
Well, a key thing was getting Middleton back healthy. And Jason Kidd has done a very good job not allowing that team to let go of the rope. They're fighting.
Pachulia got it back off the deflection and was fouled. The East has become very, very interesting. Cleveland's lead over Washington and Boston just 3. And you see Toronto now 5.5 back overall, 2.5 back of that third spot. Atlanta threatening Toronto.
And Miami's beating up on Toronto tonight right now, Mike. It's going to be one spot left. Miami's going to be in, and then it's either going to be Detroit, Chicago, Milwaukee.
6 through 10 is still very much alive in terms of not only who gets in, but what spot you're at. That last foul was on Dedmon. Pachulia's 6 points, 6 rebounds. Ginobili, Gasol, Dedmon, Anderson, and Forbes in the game right now. Gasol the runner, that won't go. Pachulia tracks it down. Patrick McCaw, Livingston, Kevon Looney, Pachulia, and Matt Barnes out there for Golden State. McCaw misses. Calls the player they really like. He has struggled tonight, 0 for 5 from the field. Ginobili drives, right-handed, can't get it to fall.
Shooting the ball well from 3 this year, but can't make the 2s like he once did, Mike.
Barnes way off. Pachulia with his 9th rebound. Inside to Barnes. Barnes can't hit. Looney tried to tip it in. And saved by Anderson. Golden State just 35% from the field. San Antonio 56%. The rebounding +3 for the Warriors. Gasol tied up and foul. Livingston bumped him. As Steph Curry sits and watches, you can watch the H&R Block halftime report. Sage, Michael, and Jalen. And they'll discuss more about today's scenario with the Warriors resting their 4 key players: Curry, Thompson, Green, and Iguodala. Good defense from Pachulia, and Ginobili had the pass go right through his hands. That's 10 turnovers for the Spurs. Steve Kerr, a former Spur, won a couple of titles playing for Greg Popovich in 2 different stints with the team. Popovich, a very big influence on him and his coaching. Rifle pass inside to Looney. Gathers, layup, short. The size of Dedmon altering that. Forbes. Ginobili with the offensive board. Forbes going to try again, and this time knocks it down. The rookie from Michigan State with the 10th three-pointer of the first half for San Antonio. McCaw drives, Gasol with a block. Pachulia wrestles it away. McCaw tries again. He just can't get anything to fall. Patrick McCaw now 0 for 7 from the field. He has had some really good games. Good player at both ends of the floor, but the rookie struggling tonight.
I like the substitution by Coach Popovich, bringing in Danny Green and Patty Mills. Close out this half, stretch the floor, shooting. Looking for Ginobili to make a play either for himself or one of the shooters.
Golden State 3 of 10 from downtown, and San Antonio 10 of 17. Those 10 three-pointers were most in a half by the Spurs this season. A lot of three-point records. Everybody's setting their franchise record for threes. Ginobili to Dedmon, misses the jam. Patty Mills has it. Back out Ginobili. Shot clock reset. Pass in the corner. Mills, it's good. Patty Mills, his 5th three-pointer of the half, and it's a 20-point lead. What a performance from the Australian. 21 points, 8 of 10 overall, and 5 three-pointers. And San Antonio with their best three-point shooting half of the season. The rookie, Bertans, knocking him down from long distance. But Mills with the 21 points and a 20-point lead. H&R Block halftime report coming up after these messages. Welcome back to NBA Saturday Primetime, presented by Verizon Wireless. Well, no Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, so disappointed Warriors fans in attendance still can find a way to have a good time. Meanwhile, a speedy recovery to LaMarcus Aldridge and that heart issue that he's dealing with right now. And Patty Mills, the star of that first half. In the first 2 quarters here in San Antonio, first half stats brought to you by Geico. And the key stat, three-point shooting. Best three-point shooting half of the season, despite missing so many key guys, as the Spurs go 11 of 18 from the field and have 17 assists. As we welcome you back here to the AT&T Center with Mark Jackson and Jeff Van Gundy, Mike Breen on hand. We'll check in with Lisa Salters in just a moment. San Antonio, we knew going in, had better depth, deeper bench, and that showed in that first 2 quarters, Mark.
Well, give them credit, a veteran basketball team that understood they were playing against a short-handed team. For whatever reason, handle your business. 17 assists on 24 field goals made.
And the three-point shooting, again, that was the key, Jeff. I think this is a good sponsorship for you. Find your own lane, brought to you by Mitsubishi. You always talk about finding your own lane.
Got to find your niche, and the niche for San Antonio was three-point shooting. 11 for 18 in the first half, led by, as we'll call him, Bert. Here, trailing in. This is a beautiful jump shot. Bertans stroking it from 3, and this is a beautiful fast break. Kyle Anderson's going to get no credit, but because he runs through, it drags McCaw with him, which opens up Patty Mills at the three-point line. One of Mills' 5 three-point shots. Just terrific offensive display by the San Antonio Spurs.
And a 20-point lead. Patty Mills just magnificent in that first half, and Bertans also in double figures as well. Let's check in with Lisa.
Hey, Mike. Well, I just asked Steve Kerr. I said, obviously, with your guys resting, just tell me what you said to the guys in the locker room. And he said, you know, I told him, good job. You're doing all right. He said, obviously, we've got to play better defense. The 11 threes in that first half, that hurt us because we're giving them way too much airspace. We've got to make them put the ball on the floor right now. We were making it too easy for them. I did ask him what he did like. He said, I like the way Ian Clark is playing offense. He said, of course, Matt Barnes, he's been doing this forever. I like the way both of those two guys are playing. Mike?
Thank you, Lisa. Barnes takes that jumper and able to connect. Barnes with 14 points. He had 14 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, but as Lisa mentioned, not a lot of stops at the other end in that first half for Golden State. Mills, whose season high is 23, nearly matched that in the first 2 quarters. Shot clock down to 3. Lee draws the foul on Livingston, who was not a fan of the call.
It's funny. The same guys that were teammates coached him and raved about that call. Good call, referee. Now all of a sudden you're looking saying, how could you let him get away with that?
David Lee, in his 12th year in the league, made a couple of all-star teams, made an all-NBA third team, and did win a ring in 2015. Had some good years, but has bounced around last couple of years with Boston, Dallas, and now San Antonio. Has found a nice niche coming off the bench for the Spurs this year.
He's done a very good job adding depth to that front line of this Spurs team, and not afraid of the big moment, too.
Can really pass. Terrific competitor.
Averaged double-doubles a couple of years earlier in his career. Looney gets inside, left-handed, shot won't go. Pachulia's tip rolls off the rim. Anderson to Green. Danny Green for 3. Barnes signed after the Kevin Durant injury. Pachulia kicks it out. Livingston up top. McCaw. Livingston back out. Barnes inside Pachulia. Dedmon right there. Count it and a foul. So a chance for a three-point play for Zaza Pachulia.
Good job off the offensive boards, moving the basketball, not falling in love with the basketball. Get rid of it, make a play. Pachulia been very good tonight on the boards and scoring the basketball.
Pachulia from the Republic of Georgia in his first year with Golden State, signed a 1-year deal. Smart guy. Had a couple of restaurants Ran a business when he was in Atlanta. Actually took some business classes at Harvard Business School. Thinking about life after the NBA. Patty Mills. Livingston trying to get on track. As we said earlier, he's been struggling shooting. Despite this year has been his best shooting season. That one in and out. He's only 1 for 6. And in the last 5 games, he's 3 for 21 from the field. He's a guy that's shooting 54% for the season. David Lee left open. Dedmon trying to control it, and he does. Keeps it alive to Mills. Dedmon's pass deflected. I think it was Pachulia got a piece of it. Looney blocked from behind. Dedmon got a piece of it, and Anderson comes away. Here's David Lee inside, and he's fouled.
I'm looking at Coach Popovich. That's why you fall in love with a guy like Dedmon. Sure, he's young. He's going to make mistakes. So careless passing, turns the basketball over, but youth and enthusiasm. Does not give up on the play. Sprints the length of the floor. Doesn't allow a dunk. And that type of energy and effort becomes contagious throughout your lineup, and you cannot replace it.
Well, a lot of fans know the story of Dedmon so far. He didn't play basketball until he was 18 years old. His mom, who raised 4 kids alone, was a devout Jehovah's Witness, and she felt all the children's time and energy should be spent on important things like serving the community and going to religious services. Spent a lot of time in Bible study, ministry school, doing service around the community. Finally, though, his senior year in high school, went against his mom's wishes, started playing. And it was a long road, but he's made it here in the NBA. He's bounced around a little bit. As Greg Popovich told us before, he's going to get a nice contract this summer. McCaw. Green to Mills, back to Green, open look for 3. Barnes back to McCaw. Shot blocked by Green. Danny Green has been an underrated defender for a number of years.
Well, one of the great strengths of San Antonio and why they're the best defensive team in the NBA is their length. When he and Kawhi Leonard start with Aldridge and Dedmon, I mean, that is a huge 4 guys to go along with Tony Parker.
David West comes in. Pachulia knocked out of his hands. West tries to save it, but he stepped out of bounds. All right, you got a young player like McCaw. And again, he's a really nice young player, the rookie from UNLV. He's only 21 years old. But he's 0 for 10 here in a chance to get some extra minutes. What do you, as a coach, what do you say to your young player during the course of a game like this?
Well, to me, it's no secret. Keep your head up and continue to battle. Continue to compete. Going to be nights like this, even for the greats. Steph Curry was 0 for 11 from the three-point line one night. It happens. The great ones bounce back and continue to compete.
What's the record? Wasn't it Hardaway?
Yep. 0 for 18 from the field.
Think about that. A future Hall of Famer was 0 for 18 from the field.
Anderson to Lee. Lee with the flush, and it's a 22-point lead.
That's when he was at Golden State, right? I believe it was against Minnesota.
Don't know if it's against Minnesota, but it was when he was at Golden State.
Man, this guy knows, Mike. You don't just throw out, oh, it was at Golden State, and I believe against Minnesota.
I think it was. I'm not sure about that. I just remember watching the game.
So you just think he was in a Golden State uniform? You just think it was against the Minnesota Timberwolves? Who do you think you're fooling, man?
I don't walk around with an almanac with me.
But you have the Elias Sports Bureau on speed dial, I'm sure.
No, I got Dave Freed on speed dial.
Dave Freed, our beleaguered statistician. And he was with Golden State, according to Dave Freed, and it was at Minnesota.
He just stumbled onto that, Mike. In his brain, his database in his brain. He came across it.
But Dave Freed was incorrect. It was 0 for 17.
That's what I thought. But I wasn't going to dispute Free, but he's not beleaguered. He's stealing.
Patty Mills got hit. Rebound, Pachulia.
I say we give Dave Free the night off, man. You think so?
Permanently.
Livingston's jumper misses. David West the rebound. West inside. Pachulia rolls around and drops in.
That was a nice pass by David West. Finding guys as bigs who can pass the ball and help facilitate offense.
The Warriors continue to switch this big, small pick and roll, putting the small on David Lee and a big guy on Patty Mills. That's a recipe for disaster.
12 points, 6 rebounds for David Lee. San Antonio in complete control right now. West comes up short. They are now down to 30% from the field, 19 of 63. And this, we talked to Steve Kerr before the game, said, where is the scoring going to come from?
You know what he really wanted to say, Mike? It's not. But he can't say that.
Mills shot blocked. Well, their top 5 scorers not playing. Danny Green can't hit. West the rebound. By the way, Kevin Durant riding a stationary bike now, but still no timetable for the return. We have a timeout midway through the third. A shorthanded Golden State down by 24. The San Antonio Spurs have clinched a playoff berth for the 20th consecutive season. The last time was the 97 postseason. Here were the NBA leaders that year. Michael Jordan led in scoring. George Murison in field goal percentage. Dennis Rodman in rebounding. Dikembe Mutombo in block shots. And Mark Jackson led the league in assists the last time that the San Antonio Spurs missed the postseason.
I got to get back to that weight, man. I mean, I looked okay.
Looking sharp there. How many games did you play for the Nuggets that year?
I'm not sure. I don't have the brain of this guy. Do
Hey,
you know off the top of your head how many I played?
No, but I'm going to guess 80 plus.
No, I actually played half the season for the Nuggets, and then I played. I played 83 games that year.
Yes,
exactly.
I remember that.
Oh, we're the science experts then.
You'd get fined for that. Anderson drives and is fouled by JaVale McGee with 5:41 remaining.
Mike, during the break, you learned fantastic things just communicating with friends, developing. This guy actually puts mustard and tomatoes on hot dogs. Are you kidding me?
That's called like a Chicago dog.
You're not from Chicago.
You don't have to actually reside in the city to buy a hot dog and like how the condiments are put on.
Did you ever try a hot dog with mustard and tomato prior to you ever going to Chicago?
No, I had not. But once you go there, first of all, the best hot dog I ever had was in Oakland growing up, Chris and John. It was right across the street, I think, from either Oakland Tech High School. Unbelievable. Growing up. Used to love when my dad would wake us up at midnight to go get a hot dog.
You've maxed out on shout-outs. Was that Chris and John's hot dog stand?
I believe it was. I don't know if it's around anymore. And a great drink.
Oh, you was Biggie. Welch's great. Okay.
This is fascinating. Gasol down low.
It's more fascinating than this.
Gasol lays it up and in. San Antonio's blown this game open, up by 25 with 5 to go here in the third.
You know what's also fascinating? I'm watching this game. You realize how great Kawhi Leonard is. I mean, the season that he's having. You talked about it last week, and I went back and did some. The guy is playing out of his mind on both sides of the floor. It's incredible the year that he's having and the career he's putting together.
Do you put him on the same level right now? And we still have a ways to go before anybody has to vote, as McGee misses that. Is he on the same level of MVP candidacy as Westbrook and Harden and LeBron James?
For me, he is.
And for me, Westbrook and Harden are the front runners, but he's in the discussion for MVP with LeBron and Isaiah Thomas having a heck of a year also, but they're in the discussion, so I wouldn't be disrespectful raving about the season he's having and then not put him in the discussion.
They could finish with the best record in the NBA, San Antonio.
And again, their depth is good, Mike, but he's the only all-star. And to win like that, I think you would be discounting him if you didn't give him his proper due.
Dedmon puts it in on the foul, and the Spurs enjoying every minute of this. Westbrook still averaging the triple-double, just past Wilt Chamberlain for most triple-doubles. He did it today. He got number 32, so second most ever in a single season behind Oscar Robertson. Harden. And again, because he just does it every year, LeBron James deserves to be in that discussion.
You can give him the MVP every single season.
Yep.
And I'm surprised that they struggle as much as they do right now.
Clark left-handed. Nice move from Clark. Clark having a nice offensive game. 18 points on 8 of 12 from the field. Simmons up top. Gasol. Good pass inside. Dedmon. And a 3-second violation.
3-second violation. Golden State ball.
McGee the rebound and the putback.
We talked about it. McGee's a guy that's given them quality minutes this year. Signed him at the last moment, setting big screens and finishing at the rim, giving energy, protecting the rim. He's done a very good job for the Warriors.
Bryn Forbes. Under 3 minutes to go here in the third. And San Antonio holds on as McGee can't hold it and wins this game. They'll be only a half game behind Golden State for the best record in the NBA.
Did you just say if? Did you just say if they hold on?
You always have to say if.
Are you guys watching the Showtime special on the UConn women basketball team?
I have not seen it yet.
It is fantastic. The insights into their program, Gina Auriemma, really good stuff.
Congratulations, by the way, you're talking about women's basketball, to this great Dawn Staley, who's going to be the coach of USA basketball for the women's team. Well deserved.
I remember watching her play for the U.S. women's team in the '96 Olympics, when they won the gold medal in Atlanta. What a great point guard she was.
They have a talented team in South Carolina.
David West.
She'd be top 2 point guards if she was on this crew.
Gasol is fouled. Well, we have a moment here. Just the coaching fraternity lost a great man and a great coach. Ben Jobe, who coached for well over 3 decades, died yesterday at the age of 84. Coached in a lot of different places, most famously at Southern University. He was there over a couple of different stints for 12 years. He coached the likes of Avery Johnson. He's such an impact on Avery Johnson. The late Bobby Phills. Remember when they beat Georgia Tech in the NCAAs many years ago. But talk about a man who was universally loved and respected. Most recently had been a scout for a number of years with the Knicks. And Donnie Walsh had hired him.
Well, truly a pioneer. Will be missed. Thoughts and prayers go out to his family. Everybody that was around him, played for him, spent time with him, absolutely adored the man.
West to Clark. Clark counted and a foul. And a nice pass from David West. And Clark with 20 points. Clark has that ability. He's had a couple of 20-point games this season, but his team down by 21. Clark, when he played at Belmont, I think they went to the NCAA's 3 years.
And he was coached unbelievably by Rick Byrd there.
Right.
A terrific, terrific coach.
Gasol's pass, threw it away. Gasol with a pained expression. He was mad at Bertans.
I always wonder, why would he be mad at him? You know, those older guys get mad at the younger guys like, he threw it away.
You know, I'm kind of reading his mind, so maybe he was mad at himself, but that wasn't there.
Doesn't look like that to me,
right.
no.
Well, as an old guy, you make him believe that he should have been at a spot when it was the old guy's fault.
That's what kind of con you guys used to run? What? No, when you got older, right?
So West will shoot. West, of course, who played with San Antonio last year. Another former All-Star playing a role. Upcoming national TV schedule, NBA TV Sunday, the Heat and the Pacers in Indiana. ESPN tomorrow night. Cavs and Rockets from Houston. TNT on Monday. Spurs at home against the Hawks. Lakers and Nuggets in Denver. And next Saturday, we'll be in Los Angeles for the Clippers and the Cavaliers as they continue their West Coast swing. David West with 8 points, 3 rebounds. Greg Popovich letting the rookie hear it. Ginobili trying, gets inside, misses, but got hit by Jones. And Manu Ginobili, the second oldest player in the NBA this year. And still doing some nice things off the bench. Obviously not playing as many minutes. Boy, in his prime, there might have been guys that played and competed as hard, but nobody harder.
Well, you think about it. Pop used to rave about him in our meetings, saying his mentality and approach was equal to the great Kobe Bryant. And he raved about him, and you can see the competitive spirit. And he's playing this late in his career and still, you know, an impactful player because of his energy, his effort, and the way he competes.
39 years old as Clark misses. The only player older is Vince Carter. Gasol couldn't hold on. Final minute here in the third. Livingston, pass inside, deflected and stolen. Joel Anthony has come on for San Antonio. Everybody getting minutes tonight. Ginobili off balance. And the foul. Chance for a three-point play from Manu Ginobili.
Tough floater right there for Ginobili. Good concentration. Three-point play opportunity.
4 championship rings for Manu Ginobili. And this year, once he gets a few playoff games over, he's going to play in over 200 playoff games. Came close to retiring. He's talked back into returning once again in his 15th year.
And you put that on top of his Olympic success. An incredible career.
Olympic gold medal, a EuroLeague title, and 4 NBA championships. Ginobili, the crossover drives, flipped it up. And that will end the third quarter. Dominance by the San Antonio Spurs as both teams playing without their stars, but the Spurs bench, many of them put into the starting lineup, performed beautifully. This presentation of NBA Saturday Primetime continues after this message and a word from our ABC stations.
That's a great show, but I tell you, I have no trust in Peter McLeish, the VP, or his wife.
That's an outstanding show. I'm hooked.
They are some diabolical people.
Fourth quarter underway here in San Antonio. What has been a dominant performance by the Spurs, playing without Kawhi Leonard, LaMarcus Aldridge. Aldridge is out indefinitely after being diagnosed with a heart irregularity, something that has come up a couple of times prior to this season. Kawhi Leonard out with a concussion. And Tony Parker with the back. There you see San Antonio if they win. And they're certainly well on their way. Only a game back of Golden State, who resting today Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, Andre Iguodala, and obviously Kevin Durant out with an injury. They play on Wednesday. There'll be a half game back if they win today. They will play on the final Wednesday, these two teams here in San Antonio, final Wednesday in March.
Weren't they on the bench in the first half? I don't see them here in the second half.
They were on the bench in the first half.
Last touch by Anthony. The final game between the two was March 29th. They only play 3 times this season during the regular season. So San Antonio wins. Not only do they move within a half game of first, but they would win any tiebreaker. Forbes. McAdoo throws it out, but Simmons called for a hold on McCaw. Kyle Anderson will return. Second foul on Simmons. How you doing, Jeff?
Hey, NBA basketball, it's just great. I mean, if I was a fan, I would be loving this. Getting to see some young players develop.
Well,
this is really a proud day right now for the NBA, Mike.
Well, we were talking about this earlier in the hotel lobby this morning where we stayed. I met a family, husband, wife, and son, and they bought tickets for this game back in September for the boy for his 9th birthday. They're from Monterrey, Mexico. Yesterday they drove 7.5 hours to come to this game, and they spent $400 per ticket for 3 tickets. And they planned this since all the way back in September. And obviously disappointed. You see various signs around taking shots at the players for the rest.
But that's the problem, Mike. Those stories are all throughout this arena and all throughout this league. It's not fair to the fans, and I know we sound like a broken record, but something's got to be done around it.
And it's not the players. This is a team decision.
Simmons with a nice move.
And Mike, we say it and then we just move on. We don't know how much disposable income that family has. You know, that could have been it.
Right. That's probably the one game that, can't imagine him doing it more than once, but probably the one game they go to. And the son is a huge Curry fan, had his Curry jersey on.
And our response is tough luck.
Joel Anthony. McAdoo the foul. Again, the league next year, the season is going to start earlier. A little more than a week earlier, with an extra week that hopefully will make the schedule much easier. This year the attempt was to cut out many of the 4 games in 5 nights, and it was the least amount that it's ever had. But obviously more still needs to be done to prevent.
But it's not just that. It's all right, what kind of schedule then takes place? How many time zones are you asking them to fly through? I mean, back-to-backs and 4 and 5 nights are one thing. But the Thunder this year, I believe 4 or 5 times have flown from Oklahoma City for 1 game out east. And you have to have a schedule that makes sense.
I remember years ago listening to an interview with Larry Bird, and they asked him, the great Larry Bird, and they asked him about the tough schedule and how do they respond to it. And he looked at the reporter like he was crazy and said, we just play the schedule. We don't make the schedule. We just play the schedule. Whenever they say we play, we go out and handle our business. And that's from greatness.
We'll take a timeout here in the 4th quarter. All Spurs tonight here at the AT&T Center as they lead 92-69.
Welcome back to San Antonio. Well, as Mike Green referenced earlier, there was a family from Mexico who traveled 7.5 hours just to come to this game tonight because little Emilio Albermeri is a huge fan of the Golden State Warriors. His father tried to get tickets when they initially went on sale. They went so fast he ended up spending hundreds of dollars for tickets to the game. So you can imagine how crushed they were when they got here and found out that little Emilio's Heroes would not be playing tonight. The Warriors, they were upset when they heard about it as well. So when I talked to them, they said, you know what? We're going to go get that family when the game is over, tell them to stay in their seats. We're going to have somebody from the Warriors. We're going to have someone bring them down to the locker room. We want Emilio to meet his heroes. So we're hoping for a happy ending to this story tonight, Mike.
Well, Emilio looked like he's about to fall asleep there.
Well, that's nice, Mike, but there's no happy ending because there's thousands of Emilios around this arena and around this country. That's disappointing.
No question mark. As Bertans on the follow throws it down. Clark with a career high. We said earlier we might see somebody with a career high as Jones is fouled by Bertans. And free throws coming up for Damian Jones, the rookie from Vanderbilt, with 7:48 remaining here in the fourth. Well, ABC's coverage of the NBA continues tomorrow. The Sunday Showcase, and it'll be from Boston. Jimmy Butler and the Bulls in Boston to face Isaiah Thomas and the Celtics. Coverage begins with NBA Countdown at 3.
Hey, Mike, if I ever do any stand-up or singing or anything, putting on a performance, I will have Jeff Van Gundy in the front row. One thing I know, working with this guy for 10, 11 years now, he is going to be supportive of somebody putting on a... I've watched him give standing ovations to every halftime show, every timeout performance. It's inspiring.
Well, the little girl was singing Let It Go. It was excellent. She won a contest. I thought she was very good.
I've seen you give standing ovations to at least 15 to 20 performances.
But not the guys, those muscle guys. You know what I mean?
Bertans with another foul.
I mean, what do you... Come on, man.
What? I can't be... The girl was...
The performance is not even over yet. You're standing up.
It was... All right. You know... I try to celebrate people in the game, and you try to knock me down.
Oh, but you don't celebrate the muscle guys. You're not into them?
I'm not. No, those guys.
What's wrong with the muscle guys?
I just don't like their act. It's weird.
But you loved it. You loved the dog. The dog you thought was the best. The man with the dog you thought was the best of all time.
The frisbee catching dog.
I would give anything for running time right now.
Red Panda is in the Hall of Fame of halftime shows, right?
Yes.
The stair guy, the chair climbing guy that we had here today.
Quick Change is in there.
You know who was awesome?
Forbes for 3.
Quick Change, but also, how about, remember the guy who used to do the Michael Jackson?
Yes.
The Jackson 5
with,
guy?
with the different,
yeah.
Off the charts.
You've drawn me into this discussion.
What do you want to talk about? Damian Jones D-League stats?
Barnes gets inside. Scoop layup won't go. Jones NBA stats right there on the follow. Jones, who played 3 years at Vanderbilt. First-round pick of the Warriors. The last pick of the first round this past year.
Mentioned Vanderbilt, they're going to make the tournament.
Travel called on Forbes with 6:26 remaining. All right, let me throw out some basketball topic to you. You can make one rule change, either a rule change, a rule elimination, or a rule addition. What's it going to be?
No timeouts in the last 2 minutes. You can only advance the ball, though. You have a couple advances, but no timeouts.
In the last 2 minutes of every fourth quarter and overtime?
Yeah, just let's cut down the timeouts.
I love that. That would actually be mine. Less timeouts in the fourth as McCaw comes up with a steal. Barnes tries a three-pointer. Mark, how about you?
I don't know, Mike. I really don't. I've been thinking all day long. It's done a very good job. I'm just frustrated with guys sitting out, and not just picking on the Warriors, but it's becoming a thing to do in this league. And today is a hot topic. I think something's got to be done, so that would be my rule change. If you're healthy, you play. And it's tough to do because Steve Kerr is doing the right thing in his own mind for his team to have an opportunity to win.
To me, this has to be corrected at the league level.
How about if Kerr sat two of the guys last night and two of the guys tonight? At least mix it up where some of the stars were playing in each game.
You can't remix my rule, Mike. If you're healthy, you play.
Okay. Doing all right? Yeah, how you doing? All right.
Talk to me.
Hand up, hand up.
We running, DD.
I got to come together. Let's see, he split it right here. It was high because DJ was back.
The speed. The speed. Way to protect it, way to protect it. That's the one. That's the one. There we go. There you go.
Ian Clark and Danny Green wearing the microphones for us here tonight in San Antonio, where the Spurs well on their way to another win. They had lost Thursday night against Oklahoma City. Prior to that, had won 9 in a row. Kevon Looney drives inside and gets the soft roll. Looney's first field goal, he'd been 0 for 6. Here's Jonathan Simmons, drives inside. Nice move from Simmons. McCaw passes it up. Looney. That won't go. Ball tipped right back out. Ian Clark to McCaw. Jones on the reverse. I mentioned Jones just called up today from the D-League. The Warriors shorthanded. It's been closest that Golden State's been in the second half, 18. It was a 20-point game at halftime. As Patty Mills had that huge first half. Mills 21 points in the first half. Again, Kawhi Leonard. Spurs hoping he'll play on Monday after the concussion suffered in the Oklahoma City game. Offensive foul. Bertans steps in and draws the charge. Kristaps Porzingis from Latvia gets most of the talk from Latvia with this young man. Really, he's done some nice things tonight as he continues to grow in his first NBA season.
Spurs continue to find talent from everywhere.
Joel Anthony on the reverse.
I think they waited, what, 5 years?
Yep, played 5 years in Europe after being drafted.
Just the gold standard as far as organizations, franchises. They do it the right way.
Well, we mentioned 20 straight playoffs as they've clinched. 18 straight years, 50 or more. And R.C. Buford, talk about a guy that doesn't like the spotlight, tries to stay out of what a job he's done. Been the GM since 2002. Ball knocked away.
He actually was an assistant coach when I played with the Clippers for Hall of Fame coach Larry Brown. He's done an incredible job, and obviously the leadership of Pop. And another thing, the highlight for me tonight, getting a chance to see former Pelicans coach Monty Williams, former NBA player. Talk about as good as it gets as a human being in this league. It was great to see him and spend some time with him.
Monty Williams last year, after the tragic death of his wife, back working in the Spurs front office and hopes to resume coaching at some point.
He's going to get an opportunity if he wants to coach again. The job he did with the Pelicans, especially the grass looks greener from the other side. You look back now at the job he did, put him in the playoffs, give him a chance to have experience. He'd kill for that right now.
There's no question he did a marvelous job. And Mike, you referenced the tragedy. The speech he gave at the funeral was one that was of remarkable grace.
Amen.
Welcome back to NBA Saturday Primetime, presented by Verizon Wireless. Here in the NBA this season, Russell Westbrook, of course, trying to catch Oscar Robertson. He's passed Wilt Chamberlain, second most triple-doubles in a single season. May average a triple-double only the second time. The year Oscar Robertson had the triple-double, he finished third in the MVP voting. Bill Russell was the MVP in 1962. Wilt Chamberlain averaged 50 and 25 and played 48.5 minutes a game. He played every minute of every game, including overtime, thus over 48. And then Elgin Baylor's numbers were incredible, and he finished fourth. Just unbelievable numbers from some of the great names to ever play.
Numbers leave you speechless. Those are video game numbers.
And that was, Mike, remember when there was, I think it was 9 teams in the league. So you were going up against the best at your position every single night. I mean, Wilton, Bill Russell had to play all the time. I mean, it was...
Well, you saw the minutes per game on all of them. Chamberlain 48, the others 44 minutes a night.
And those teams didn't really have depth. They had 7, 8 guys that could play, so it forced the great ones to play extended minutes.
Coming up on 2 minutes remaining. On a night that many of us had been anticipating. This was one of the more exciting, potentially exciting matchups of the season. Number 1 versus 2. All changed with first the injuries for San Antonio and then the resting Golden State players.
They play back-to-back the next time, too, when they're here, Mike. It'll be interesting to see if they're rested then as well.
And as we've said throughout tonight, despite all this, this is a really important game. Clark, left-handed, banks it in. And oh, how about Clark? His career high. We said somebody was going to have a career high, and it is Ian Clark with 33.
And he's a proven guy, a proven scorer, the ability to shoot. Doing a good job putting the ball on the deck and making plays in the paint area. Gets the contact and the hoop.
It's going to be an interesting choice Steve Kerr has in the playoffs when he does go to the first guy off the bench at the wing position. Is it McCaw or is it Ian Clark? You know, Livingston will back up at the point, obviously.
Well, McCaw a better defender. Clark more of an offensive player as Simmons throws it down.
To me, Clark has done it when it mattered most. They've put him in positions, and he's been successful winning games.
Also, too, this is Clark's 4th year in the league. McCaw is a rookie, so he hasn't even seen any playoff games. Final minute, crowd is thinned out. As this has been all San Antonio. They've led by at least 18 the entire second half. Largest lead, 28. Anderson lines that one up and knocks down a 2-pointer as the Spurs put on some finishing touches on a game that will bring them within a half game of first in the West. A half game behind Golden State. And they will win any tiebreaker as they've won the first 2 games of this series with just 1 more to play.
I got to tell my youngest son, Daddy's taking a day off. I'm not driving you to school on Monday morning. It's a rest day. I need it.
So San Antonio wins for the 10th time in 11 games, 8 straight wins at home. And again, more importantly, just a half game behind Golden State. Steve Kerr rested his star players, and his team will lose their 3rd in a row. Of course, a lot made about when they finally lost back-to-back games, but as you guys like to point out, they lost 3 in a row in the NBA Finals last year. As these 2 good friends, Steve Kerr, as we mentioned, played for Greg Popovich, helped them win 2 championships. I wish they were mic'd right now.
They are. They just turned them off. We miss all the good stuff.
Great respect between the 2. They will meet again on Wednesday, March 29th, right back here, and perhaps once again in the playoffs. Chip Engelman again. Meanwhile, Manu Ginobili and the Spurs bench do a marvelous job tonight. Ginobili's with Lisa.
Thank you, Mike. Manu, you called this game awkward this morning at shoot-around. How do you think it played out?
Well, we did it very well. You know, sometimes when you play against a team that are missing so many players, you tend to relax a little bit. But we play seriously. And, of course, they were struggling to score because they were lacking all the creators, all their scorers. So it was very hard for them to score. And we play a serious game.
You said ball movement was going to be very important because your ISO scorers were not playing. How do you think you did moving the ball?
I think first half was great. We got almost 20 assists. We moved the ball very well, and our defense was okay. We turned the ball over a little bit. They got too many offensive rebounds, but we went to halftime up 20. And that was, you know, a good sign, of course, of the way we played.
Now you're just a half a game behind them. Do you think that this move that they made to rest their starters could come back to bite them in the long run?
Well, maybe it could have been worse if they played today after, you know, flying all night and sleeping a few hours. So I think it's a smart move. We've done it before. They got all on their side. They are still ahead, and they are a heck of a team. So we'll see. We'll be up there trying to play our best game and see if we get the one, it would be great. If not, we'll be okay with the two, and we'll try to fight from there.
All right, thanks, Manu. Appreciate it. Mike, back to you.
Thank you, Lisa. Always diplomatic. Manu Ginobili. As the Spurs win, Warriors, not surprisingly, with a season-low scoring tonight of 85 points as the Spurs win it 107-85. So for Jeff Van Gundy, Mark Jackson, Lisa Salters, our terrific ABC crew, including producer Tim Corrigan and director Jimmy Moore, our statistician Dave Freed, Mike Breen saying thanks so much for watching here on ABC, home of the NBA Finals. And stay tuned, coming up, the studio team coming up right after these messages with Sage, Michael, and Jalen.